Hi Archit, how you doing?
Good. All right. All good. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. So today I've got Archit Arora, who's joining us on this podcast come webinar, and we're going to be talking a little bit about his career, his background, and what he's doing now, but then also more importantly, where he's going and what he's trying to achieve going forward. So welcome to this podcast, Archit. I really appreciate your time on this. So give us a little bit of background about who you are, where you're from.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this podcast today. It's really an honor to be a part of the Samera Global Events and podcast. Um, yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. I think I would probably just give you a little bit of background on what I'm doing right now. I am currently I'm a founder of an international firm called United Studies. So basically, I started off my career with KPMG, and I pursued ACCA under their sponsorship program. And upon successful completion of my ACCA, I moved to KPMG in the Cayman Islands. I spent about 4 years there, and then I moved to EY in Luxembourg, where I spent another 8 months to a year, some sort of time like that. Then I moved back to India, started working for Amazon. It was an internal audit function. I spent there a year, and then I started working for a firm which is a startup in outsource providing services in accounting and offshoring services in accounting, auditing, and that kind of domain. So then I just recently established my firm, and which is obviously into accounting space, and we are looking for clients which are global, looking for accounting support or auditing support, or these are looking for anything related to tax. So that's the a little bit of the background of what I've done so far and what I'm currently pursuing. Obviously, like this is going to be a longer term vision where I'm not switching in between the jobs, but this is something that is, kind of the ultimate goal that I had planned or I had dreamt of in it previously when I was more younger.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so you've obviously had a bit of an international career being in Luxembourg and the Cayman Islands and back in India now. And so when you left India to go to the Cayman Islands and now you've moved back to India, do you see any differences at all in terms, not necessarily environment wise, but in terms of business or the whole accounting space? Do you see any differences there or not?
Well, I think I started off my career with an outsourcing kind of a domain where I was working with KPMG and we were supporting KPMG Cayman Islands, and their auditing support team or the auditing team. So we were a pilot batch, and I was one of the team members in the pilot batch. And I think the career started off there, and then I went onshore, had a little bit of experience, about 5 years there, and then came back and then kind of did the same thing as I started off with.
Yep.
So I think it was kind of a 360 degree kind of a spare where I looked at how onshore works, how offshore space works. And then I kind of decided to this do my own thing where I felt that okay, I have enough experience to where I can add more to this space. So I think the difference between the Indian accounting firms or probably the outsourcing firms and the onshore firms, there's a lot of cultural difference, obviously, and then we try to make sure that we are aligned in terms of how we work with different ethnicities around the world, and how what kind of expectation do they have from an outsourcing firm. So that kind of having that kind of experience has really given me this kind of feeling where I can teach other people also, like how we can bridge that kind of a gap, and then what are their expectations, what are our expectations, and how to
Sure.
bridge that sort of a gap. So that's absolutely something that is added in my kind of experience that I've had so far. In terms
Sure.
of differences, when I talk about only the differences, I think it's just the kind of the knowledge that you get from the people outside of your world, and then the kind of knowledge they have, the kind of experience that they bring together on the table is something that obviously, like, it's part of a learning, right? And I'm grateful. I was fortunate enough to have that kind of an experience, myself, and live that kind of a life where I was meeting a lot of people. So I think that was amazing. That is something which I really think has helped me a lot.
Mm.
So
Okay. So, okay, but if you mentioned there, like, obviously the cultural differences between onshore and offshore teams, okay, and when I look at that, I see that as probably the biggest barrier, okay, for whether someone's successful in doing it or not successful in doing it. So, I don't know, do you agree with that? And then secondly, if you, in your mind, obviously you've worked in both camps. Um, for anyone watching who runs who is thinking of starting up their own thing, what would your top one or two tips be to bridge that cultural gap?
I think it's just being open about accepting what you don't know. Probably, like, this was my mistake then when I was like very close to not learning new things, and I was wanted to stick to what I've learned so far, right? But there's a lot that other world has to offer to you. It's be it about how you communicate to other people, or how you probably want to present something. So that aspect that aspect is something which is more important, I feel. It's also the fact that when I am looking at the things now versus when I used to look at it back then, has made a huge difference on me. I know that, okay, certain things work out, certain things do not work out. So identifying those things that do not work out sufficiently have to be replaced with the things that work out. So that's something, I mean, on a very high level that I'm telling. But it's also important that we understand if what are those differences. First of all, it's how you're communicating on emails, or how you're communicating on, for example, face to face. So what are the things that you should take care of? Because the first and foremost cultural difference is that the way I talk to probably my kind of people, or probably people from my cities, it would be very different to how I would talk to people outside. Right. So that's the initial phase where I want to understand. Okay, I mean, they would not laugh on the same jokes that my kind of people, or my local city people, would laugh on. Right. So that's something where I say that, okay, this is culturally a little different. But obviously, like, I mean, the things unfold as you kind of make connections, as you kind of get more involved with people, where you meet them professionally, and you also meet them at a personal level, where you go out and then have discussions about how's life, for example,
Yeah.
for instance. So yeah.
Okay, so now let's just go back to you started off your own firm relatively recently, and you obviously worked in large corporates, from KPMG to Amazon to various places. What was the impetus to start your own firm? Why did you do it?
So, well, I think so. My idea was that it unfolded after, like, I did my graduation, and then I wanted to pursue. I wanted to obviously, like, explore, and then try and then go out of India and work there in different countries. So that was a dream back then. And I was fortunate enough that I was kind of had fulfilled my dream.
Sure.
And then I knew that, okay, accounting, and then there was also a goal that I wanted to do business of my own. That was something that I had seen in my family also. My father's was also a businessman, so I always wanted to do something of my own. And then I knew that accounting is something which is kind of which would probably help me understand a business. And that is what happened when I went outside and then saw that, okay, I was exposed to a lot of companies where I was trying to understand. I also understood a lot of operations, how big businesses work, which I can probably apply when I certainly kind of try to establish my own firm. So that was a huge aspect to it, where I understand, where I learned a lot of things, how a business should run, and then I should know how accounting would help me understand that, and then bridge that kind of a gap. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you've been running your firm now, and it's in the offshoring kind of arena. Okay. How's it going?
Well, it's very different. Obviously, the one thing that I realize is that I am as excited today as I was 8 months back when I started this. Uh, but I've not essentially made a lot of difference to since 8 months. But I mean, in terms of getting more clients, something like that. But essentially, like the excitement is still there, and I'm happy that I coming to office and then talking to exploring myself, and then trying those adapting those strategies that I've learned in these 8 months, or probably before also, and then applying that has kind of really kept me going, and then looking forward to the challenges that are ahead. So that's the biggest thing that I've learned so far. Obviously, like
Okay.
having discussions with the panels, like one of yours, Samera Global Events, or and other panels, they always teach about a lot of strategies that you can apply
Yeah.
in your business. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think so. Okay. So it sounds like you're learning a lot about business, but you're also learning a lot about yourself. Correct? When you're running your own business. Okay. I think I know that myself over the last 20 odd years. I've learned so much about me and how I react to situations or handle situations, or the good and the bad and the ugly. Okay. So anyone who goes into business like you are, experience it, which is relatively early for you, it's a great journey, but you've got to be able to deal with the emotions, the highs and the lows. So I wish you all the best in doing that, and keep going. It's early days, I know that, but results come, and sometimes they come from places you don't expect them to come from as well. So um, people are always watching, as they say. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Definitely.
you have these aspirations. You're based in Faridabad, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Delhi. And where do you see the whole accounting space in India going? The kind of offshoring and accounting space, not just India, but the whole global accounting space going. What's your view?
I think there are a lot of because I have attended a lot of sessions now. Like for the first one being the Samera Global event, and I know that I've taken a lot of times. Yeah, Samera Global events. I'm not trying to endorse. I'm not trying to advertise it a lot, but it's just that this is how I started and getting to know of the events. So so I got to know that there is a lot of demand in the market. Like obviously there is a lot of cost cutting measures that the firms take, and then there's a lot of huge talent available outside of the US, or probably outside, in the rest of the world as well. For example, be it India, or any other country like Philippines. So there is a lot of talent available, and and then obviously, like when there is demand, there is a lot of supply as well at the same time. So that kind of shapes up the competition there. But in terms of understanding that, okay, there is a huge market, you actually have to do a lot of research. You have to actually follow through a lot of a lot of discussions that happen with, for example, with my my prospective clients. I've had noticed a lot of questions coming in, and then a lot of people are interested in getting to know more of how the outsourcing and offshoring functions work, and how do they trust, actually, how do they build that kind of a
Sure.
trust with the firms which are not in their local cities or countries. So that's something which absolutely like inspires me to offer them, and then how my experience or my inspiration to establish a firm, or my experience in this relevant field gets that kind of a trust with those clients. So that's something that's and knowing that there's a huge market. It's kind of I've spoken to a lot of people, and it's not just because I have done some I've I had always had those contacts in my list. No, these are new people that I'm interacting with. Nothing of that sort that I've interacted with my older kind of connections that have. They probably were in the companies like KPMG or EY
Sure.
for that matter, and there was quite. But the kind of responses when we do efforts such as marketing emails or some sort of strategies that we apply from the marketing aspect, we get a lot of response from there. It's not isolated markets, like we kind of try to go beyond one country into a lot of countries that way.
Okay. So, as you mentioned earlier, then you attended our first global summit back in Gurgaon in December, the Samara Global Summit. And what were the key points that you learnt off the top of your head?
I think we Yeah, so we spoke about a lot of things there. Like obviously, like I've learned a lot from that event. Especially when I was just establishing my firm, and it was in the very initial phases. And then the key points that I learned was related to the AI perspective altogether. There was also talks about how marketing strategies help, what kind of different marketing strategies you can adopt. And the other thing was the building of the network that I was interacting with, and then the focus was on every participant, which was absolutely something which was incredible. And I think the connections that I built then are also, I'm also able to get help from those connections.
Oh,
Just recently, I've had a couple of people from that event. We are speaking to each other since then, and then gives us a huge wide perspective over how things are, and then how can we deal with the situation when for example, a complicated problem with a client
sure.
comes to you. So those sort of things really helped me, and then how we can how the cloud platforms, accounting platforms, softwares are kind of helpful, and how we can get in touch with the Zoho team, for example. And then it was that aspect that I think has helped me a lot personally, and which I could probably apply also.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah, I guess I know we covered a hell of a lot in those 2 days, and to apply it was quite difficult sometimes because you've got so many other things you've got to manage, clients, manage. But if you can take even a little thing each time and slowly implement it, it can make a massive difference in your firm. So appreciate your feedback there. And you're coming to the Mumbai event, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, I have booked the tickets. Yeah, so
Amazing.
lucky enough to find myself into the early bird tickets. So I'm glad.
Sure. Yeah, no, we'll see. Well, definitely we'll see you in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Okay, so I look forward to seeing you again. And I suppose the one last question now to any other Indian accountants out there who are maybe running their own firm, or they're kind of had a similar journey to you so far. What would your tips be, or your advice be to them, for someone who wants to do their own thing, run their own firm, go global, whatever it may be? What would your advice be to someone younger than you?
I think there are a few things that I've looked at so far. One is that they should be open to learning, like I said previously. Also, I mean, from the perspective of the cloud platforms that are coming into the picture now. I have seen a lot of clients which are my Indian clients. I've seen a lot of clients which are still using outdated platforms, or probably they're not using the later version of the similar, like the same software that you're using, because they're used to it. So, and then the accountants are also not advising them, or probably they are advising, but there is a chance that the clients are not very willing to take up that new area, and probably new softwares that are in the market. So that's one thing that I've kind of noticed. The other thing that I've kind of which I'm really I also want myself to adopt to such thing is for example establishing or probably specializing in a niche. For example, let's say international taxation. There's a huge demand for international tech solution, because there's essentially companies which are which are doing, for example, manufacturing in one country and then importing the goods in the other country and then selling through another country. So all of these things are essentially very kind of in demand at this moment, and I feel that's something of really importance. For the younger accountants, I have a very special message that I always kind of want to share. I mean, what I've done, what I've seen in the past few months, or probably in the years that I've spent now after moving back to India. I think the only advice that I feel that they should be open to, they should push themselves, in their 20s and early 30s, where they can actually know how what is their limit, so to speak. So they just kind of push yourself there. Kind of try to look at what are the boundaries, how much you can take on per se in that kind of field. So that's where they will come to know exactly how what.
I agree. I think people need to absorb and learn and embrace change. Okay, and I think sometimes the older guys find it harder to embrace change, but the younger guys are perfectly positioned to embrace it. And I think in this world of AI, where things are moving so rapidly, okay, it's an exciting time if you're a younger person. For me, someone who's a bit older, it's a bit harder for me to absorb, but I'm trying my best to keep up with it. Okay, perhaps not very well, but it's an opportunity for these young guys who understand technology, who are accountants. It's a winning combination, and I think those skill sets will be really helpful for international companies all over the world. And we know that skill set sits in India. Okay, the hunger to work, the English speaking, the accountancy skills, and the technology skills. It's a perfect recipe, really, in my view.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Archit, thank you so much today. Okay, I really appreciate your time for sharing just a quick update about your journey. And I'm sure other people will find it helpful, useful for their input and their growth as they go forward. But I look forward to seeing you in Mumbai in a few months, and reach out if you need any help. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time as well. Thank you for having me, and we'll see each other soon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.